Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video, and you might imagine that I'm going to be making non-stop videos for the foreseeable future about stuff relating to Witch Queen. There are about 10 trillion different things to talk about. I only skipped yesterday because I was waiting for the TWAB, and that did not come until like 7:30 p.m. when I was in the middle of recording the Last Word podcast. And there wasn't really much in the TWAB anyway. It was just like, here's a couple things we're fixing and more stuff is coming, but without specifics. So I thought today I would talk about what I just did on my Titan, which is my legendary solo campaign run. I'll admit I was a little intimidated by legendary to begin with because I started on normal. I just did a normal run through on my warlock to get through all the story beats, and I'm like, I don't know, like, is legendary going to be for me? I'm not really like a solo dungeon person or like things like that. Like, I'm just not really about that. So I was wondering if I would just like totally hate this. Turns out I did not hate this. Legendary to me is kind of the right level of difficulty in a way that I've rarely seen from the game in terms of solo content. It did remind me kind of the old school Halo campaigns playing on higher difficulties where you have to kind of methodically go through a level, but what I like about this is that you can have a really wide range of loadouts that work with this. This is going to be my loadout for Legend and what I used for like 99% of it. You don't have to use this. Like, there are so many different options that you can use for Legend. I know some people were just like all about Gallarhorn spam. Some people relied on arbalets the whole time. A lot of people were using bows. Like, there are just a million different things you can use. Although most people I've seen are using Void 3.0 because it is stupidly, hilariously overpowered right now. So I thought I would just kind of go through what my build was, why I liked it, why I thought it was working so well, and you can see if you like it. This works on any class, probably with the weapons, but this was just my Titan. I wrote about glaives in an article earlier today about my love for glaives. I will kind of go over all of those segments here, but I will kind of flesh out the full build with other stuff that I've found along the way. So this is my Titan. Start with Outbreak. Outbreak was totally clutch here. Outbreak has always been, a good choice, but now with the 40% damage buff to red bars, this was a crowd clearing machine. In a way that I've rarely seen. The pulse rifles also got a 10% buff, I think, on top of that. Striga is another good crowd clearing option, except you don't get Striga until you've beaten the campaign for the first time. So that's maybe not the immediate option for most players. Outbreak was absolutely fantastic for clearing mobs, and it keeps you at range enough where you still feel safe. And I don't really know what I would have done without it. Most of my strategy involves picking off all the red bars with Outbreak, and then going in to clean up stuff with the glaive, and then hitting bosses and things with Reed's Regret. So I will move on to, I'll just go to Reed's Regret really quick. This is my triple tab Vorpal Reed's Regret. I have a firing line one, but since I was doing solo, that's a depth. There was no real point to that. So this was good for just range boss hits, and like you're just at such a safe distance here. No, we don't have the mods for stacking damage on linear fusions anymore. Guess what? Linear fusions are still good, especially with Vorpal and boss spec on. This was absolutely clutch in so many situations, but if you want to use a rocket launcher or something, go for it. Probably would not recommend using swords, or machine guns, but that's up to you. So this never came off, essentially. I think the only time I changed off Reed's Regret was during Mission 3, where there's a boss that is almost always in melee range. I think I switched to Coduello for that, for just, it was a lot easier to hit him with that than it was Reed's Regret, because it's so dark and he's always chasing you around, so that's pretty much the only time I switched to that. Then we reach the glaive. The Enigma. This glaive, it's the only glaive I have, obviously. Sorry, Evie's making noise in the background. This is out of this world fun. I know when I talked about using the glaive through Legend, I got a lot of pushback from people who were saying that glaives were not good in endgame content. Glaives, I saw one guy say you could literally not make it through a Legend campaign using the base glaive, and I'm like, I literally just did. So I was using this even with the stock kind of bad rolls for a very long time, which I had like the tilting at windmills perk and unrelenting for probably like 6 missions, until I realized like, yeah, I need to invest in better perks, even if they're not the enhanced perks yet. Impulse Amplifier, totally totally changes the way glaives play. The projectile becomes almost instant. It is easily the best use of impulse amplifier I have ever seen across any weapon. Like, it's pretty fun on rockets and grenade launchers and bows, but like on glaives, I would say it's almost essential. Like, glaives feel 50% better at least just from this perk alone. Frenzy is the other one I ended up with for just bonus damage handling reload when you're in combat, which is always. So you can do Rampage and stuff, but I did Frenzy. Unrelenting is okay, but it's kind of redundant with a perk I'll mention later. Psycho Hack, this is really underrated. Sustained damage lowers the target's damage output. So if you're hacking away at something, it will lower its damage output. And even things you can't suppress, which I'll get to in a minute, this will like save you from even like your shield breaking during a boss stomp because of the damage reduction. I don't know how much it is, but I would say it's at least 20%, maybe 30%. It's pretty severe. And that really helped me out in a clutch in many situations. Major spec, because I would use this to deal with pretty much Orange Bar Knights and not captains, whatever the Scorn captains are, and floating wizards. So this really helped against them. I think Hive Guardians are majors, I'm pretty sure, because they're finishable. So it helps against them too. But the glaive this is only part of the puzzle. The other part of the puzzle is suppressing glaive. This is truly insane. So damaging combatants with your glaive suppresses them, preventing them from using abilities for a short time. But suppression, as you may have figured out by now, is a lot more than that. Suppression is essentially just a stun blind on an enemy for an extremely long period of time. So this triggers on not only your glaive shots, it triggers on your glaive melees. So you can just, any enemy that's giving you trouble that is essentially not a unfinishable yellow bar, you can just instantly stun with suppressing glaive. This takes Hive Guardians straight out of their super immediately. So you just, it's incredible. It is truly incredible at a way I have not really seen ever. So one thing, now that I'm realizing this, actually, you can't pair these together. Shoot. Okay, I gotta change my guide. I thought this was 6. Anyway, so this is a suppression mod that also causes enemies to be weakened. So that's would be good if paired with that, except that doesn't fit. So instead, you might want to use suppression effects you have an increased duration. That is really good to pair with that. Also, you can have this perk, which increases the duration of Psycho Hack, the damage reduction. There is Glaive Dexterity, and then this isn't for Legendary Campaign because there are no champions, but you can have Unstoppable Glaive for Nightfalls and for the Master Legend missions that you'll unlock after the campaign. And then there's Glaive Scavenger if you need it, but I never really ran out of ammo with Glaive that much because I'm hacking at people a lot instead of using the blast a lot of the time, and that does not use ammo. That is not it. So you also have Echo of Domineering, where after you suppress a target, you gain greatly increased mobility, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves, so that instantly refills your magazine on your glaive as soon as you hit somebody. Then there is Echo of Leeching, which melee blows trigger health regeneration, which, yes, works on glaive stabbing. Echo of Exchange, melee final blows grant grenade energy, which, yes, works on glaive stabbing. So all 3 of these active at the same time. While we're here, so that's like pretty much what the glaive is. I do not even use the glaive shield. I was just using it defensively by stunning enemies with suppress and then running up and hacking them. You obviously do not want to charge into a fully grouped up, series of enemies because you will probably get roasted, but that's what I would whittle things down with Outbreak, and then when it was just majors and higher level enemies, I would just rush in with the glaive. So otherwise, we have Bastion. So casting your barricade, I didn't even realize casting your super grants an overshield, but casting your barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies, allowing you to regenerate it. And this is so clutch. I cannot tell you how often I use this. I've never been a big rally barricade person. It's like maybe a last resort if you want to use it. But here I actually have on I have on Rallying Barricade, or you can do Towering Barricade for more protection, but Rallying Barricade is good because it allows you, once you have the overshield on, you're protected enough and you really want to be starting to shoot pretty much immediately, and then you get all of the other bonuses here, reload speed, stability, and range that have been previously buffed for Rally Barricade. So I've been using that. This is controlled demolition. Hitting an enemy with a void ability or volatile explosion makes them volatile. And then doing damage to that causes them to explode. This works on your grenade, on your shield throw, and it also negates really the needing to use, where's the explosion one? Void ability, final blows, cause targets to explode. It makes that kind of redundant. I think maybe this stacks to some effect, but I needed these other slots for glaive things. I have suppressor grenade on. Maybe since I have the suppressing glaive, this is overkill, but I still really liked it, and I found it being very useful. I absolutely love shield throw. As bad as the stasis melee for Titan feels, that's how good shield throw feels. I love shield throw. It's a lot of fun. Did not realize you could change the shield bash. I didn't know shield bash was still around. Okay then, I learned something new. Because on Warlock there is no second melee. Okay, so that is this side. So we move to this side. I may have changed some things at the end of the campaign here. This used to be on Linear Fusion Finder. And this used to be a well mod, which I should probably throw back on. Do I have Well of Tenacity on? Yeah, I do. Melee Well Maker, Bountiful Wells. So I think I'm missing Explosive? No, Elemental. Okay. So this is the Psycho Hack extension one. This is Elemental Wells spawned from grenade kills. This, so I have Double Pulse on, which probably one of these can be Glaive Dexterity, and then Well of Tenacity, which is the new, whatever the Charge with Light one is that I forgot, Protective Light, because that got heavily nerfed, and getting orbs now is freaking annoying and impossible. Not impossible, but very annoying. So I switched to Well of Tenacity, which you get stacking damage resist on picking up wells. Here, very, very essential mods. These thermal shock mods are crazy. Oh, I see I have made this double redundant here. Whoops. All right, maybe I'll put Phantom Might on. I don't know. So because that Phantom Might will work with the glaive. So if I get a damage boost, that will increase glaive damage. This is double reduction from Solar and Arc. I think these stack. I'm pretty sure they stack. So this is definitely worth doubling up on because it's 2/3 of the damage types you will come across in the game. This got screwed up because of some stat changing around, so this is not doing anything. I'm going to put that on mobility just for now. And as you can see, I'm using Heart of Inmost Light. This is the exotic that using one of your things makes the other two recharge faster and better. So now that it's actually useful to spam Rally Barricade, that really helps out getting your grenade and melee throwback. So I am spamming abilities a lot in this build too, in addition to all the weapon stuff. Boots, yeah, okay, so I had changed to Gallarhorn for something, not the campaign, it was something after, but this is not where I need it to be at the moment. I don't know what I would put on this, honestly. Melee Wellmaker is an artifact that makes it cost 1 these days. Oh, there's Phantom Might that costs 1 now too, okay. So I can save some space here. Not that I really need it, I guess, but wait, where's Phantom Might? Oh, there it is, okay. Here, you can just do scavengers for glaives, I guess, or I should probably have Linear Fusion on here, but I'm probably going to switch out of this after. Suppressing glaive, this is an essential must-have, absolutely. Also, overload grenades for champion activities are going to be very useful now that everyone's running 3.0. I have Bountiful Wells, so everything spawns 2 wells instead of 1 well. I don't think this stacks twice. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but I need to double check on that. If it does stack twice, I would use it. I swear I ran across one Titan build that was spawning 4 wells on every void kill, like every grenade or melee kill. I don't know how that was happening because I have tried to stack these and I couldn't get that to work, but anyway, so light elemental well build there, nothing super crazy, but that is pretty much what I feel like you almost have to run instead of Charge with Light now, because Charge with Light has been so nerfed by the orb changes and just a literal nerf to the Protective Light perk. So this got me through the entire thing, more or less. The hardest section for me was the third boss, where it's the underground one where he's charging at you with the fire thing, and it's very dark. I died maybe, I would say, 10 or 12 times there. That's the most I died in any one section, because I didn't really know how to kite correctly. You should never, once he activates his like damage phase and starts chasing you, you should not stay in the little back rooms. You should run around in a circle and like kind of spam abilities at the middle to clear out enemies, and then just run away from him and kite him and shoot him with rockets. Or I don't think I used the glaive here. Maybe I did. But I also use Glaciocasm a good amount for some pretty big damage on him too. The other hard mission was Communion. That was pretty tough, but my Reed's Regret made short work of the tanks in the beginning section, so that was not terribly difficult. I think I only died once on the final boss there. And then Savathun, the final mission, only died once in that whole thing. And that was just a matter... That was the glaive. The glaive... neuters the wizards that you have to kill to activate the damage phase, and just make short work of them, make short work of everything around the ring pretty much. I changed to, so I was on Sentinel for almost this entire run. I only put on Bubble for Savathun because there was just no point using Sentinel against her, and I didn't need the mob clear. I would just usually, like, I would do 2/3 of boss phases, and then I would just pop Sentinel for the last boss phase. Or if I was getting overrun by just a ton of enemies, I would pop this. Bubble just felt too defensive for solo, if you ask me. Legend is hard, but it's not like GM, like you're going to get too bursted if you poke your head out, especially with these double resist mods on, so, and void resistant stuff. So that's, I don't know. I didn't have that much trouble with Savathun. Again, Reed's Regret may have helped there also, but it's just patience. I think I 2-phased her, maybe I 3-phased her, but it's... Patience is the name of the game for pretty much all of Legend, as you may have discovered through like GMs and things. But yeah, if I can do it, I think anyone can do it. And I'm going to go into this later, but I think one of the big reasons why this worked and why the difficulty level here is good is that there are no champions. And so this allows for a much greater loadout availability, where you are not restricted to what types of weapons you're using at all, and you can use absolutely anything and everything. Your favorites, you know, whatever the meta is, you can use pretty much anything you want, and you don't have to worry about champions. Also, there's like mini match game where enemies have better elemental shields, but they're not like match game level. So I did not worry about type matching. So this is what I just used this the whole time. Reed's Regret was doing nothing to help me type match, but the shields were not enough of a problem where, like, you could really burst them down with Outbreak if you just were persistent, and then the glaive shot would take any shield off in 2 bursts anyway. So shields were not really a big deal, and I would not really concern yourself with type matching the shields. So anyway, that's kind of my run through of my build. I just did the last mission 3-man on my Warlock with 2 friends. That really increases the health pool, and I think in many ways 3-man is maybe even harder than solo, because solo enemies just have like more normal pools of health. The downside is you have to be extra careful because you cannot revive yourself, and 1 death means a wipe. But I do think in many ways solo is almost easier, so do not be afraid of doing it solo, and know that it might actually be the better option to do that. And I have not touched my Hunter since Witch Queen launch, so I have a whole Hunter run to do that I will eventually get to, but I have so many side quests and things I gotta do. This is my transmog look. It is all the pieces of the new seasonal Cabal armor set, which I freaking love. Looks amazing, incredible, and yeah, so that's it. So that's my build. I hope you guys are having as much fun with Witch Queen as I am. There's plenty to talk about, and I will get to more of it later. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.